Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it looks like the mainstream media is calling out the toxic relationship between Netflix, She-Ra, and Catra.
Oh, you don't say.
You don't say.
You know, it's not like everybody's been saying it for a while now.
Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about this. Here's a weird thing about Netflix, She-Ra. It's all but forgotten except for Twitter and Tumblr
Pretty
fans.
much, yeah, that's about it.
Like even Bleeding Cool, the last She-Ra article they were talking about original production cells that were for sale on Heritage Auctions.
What, I missed it?
Yeah, I know. I was kind of eyeing those up. I actually did get you some original.
He did.
She-Ra.
He got me some original art.
I did.
And one of them was when she's pulling her sword.
Yes. From the original Filmation
She pulls
series.
her own sword.
She does. But a couple weeks ago, we had, the PR rounds being made with Stevenson and some of the voice actors talking about this being the greatest romance in TV animation.
Yeah, sure, okay. Sure
it
can.
is. Sure it is.
Oh, and it's Entertainment Weekly, where she always gets video articles and stuff about herself in. I'm sorry, their self, himself. I don't even know what is Noelle at this point.
It's N.D. Stevenson, and I'm not sure.
So we'll just say their selves, because we don't know.
Themselves.
So themselves. So they are constantly getting themselves into places like Entertainment Weekly, because they have a PR person who gets them into Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah, and this comes up every couple of months. I think.
Don't forget about me.
Don't forget, because here's what's happening, right? Amazon. Not that I have a lot of hope for this.
No, with their mandates, it's going to be more of the same.
Especially after watching the Lord of the Rings trailer, I'm like, yeah.
But then again, with all the backlash, this is that Lord of the Rings trailer is getting, and that like Cowboy Bebop got and stuff like that, they might want to rethink it.
Tolkien had to die so She-Ra could live.
I'm just saying. I'm hoping they cancel it personally. But I hope that Amazon, you're watching all this and you're seeing what fans want. And yeah, no, don't do it.
All right, so we're gonna talk about this because the media won't let this die. We have not talked about Netflix She-Ra in a while. I don't give a shit. I mean, you watched the whole series. I didn't
watch the whole series up to season 3, and then I just couldn't do it anymore.
You skipped around a little bit.
They're having a flipping party. They're talking about her coronation party, what kind of cake she wants when her mom just died. I'm just like, or is gone. This is stupid. Like everything about it sucks.
Slumber parties and junk.
The only reason people like it is because of representation.
And Catradora, which
is representation.
Yes, and it is a toxic relationship.
And
she's a psychopath.
If you see the original plans that N.D. Stevenson was working on, which we had done a video on before, that wasn't the way it was going to go.
Yeah, the original plan for Netflix She-Ra was a show much, much closer in tone to the original, and even Catra was a lot closer to the original version of Catra.
Right, it was like a sister relationship, like rivalry type thing.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, something happened. I don't know if this was Stevenson or if this was, DreamWorks or Netflix or whatever, but the show changed drastically. The pitch actually, I think, would have resonated better with at least original She-Ra fans.
Well, I think even if the PR around it had been more fair, people would have given it a pass. They'd have been like, okay, that's not for me, and they would have moved on. But the PR machine right from the get-go was attack, and that did not work well.
That's the problem I have with it. I mean, regardless of what you think about the show, obviously the show on so many levels is not for me.
It's not original She-Ra at all. It's not She-Ra at all.
Right, but the fact that they came out of the gate attacking original fans. That literally was the marketing, was attack the original fans.
It felt like they had a show. I'm so used to calling her Noelle. They had a show in mind, and it wouldn't have been a bad show had it been its own thing. And I think it's actually more a disservice to diverse people and all that by not letting them tell their own story and trying to shoehorn it into existing property that comes with baggage and comes with a lot of fans that were very upset by the behaviors. They had just let N.D. Stevenson do the show that N.D. Stevenson wanted to do, which was apparently what it turned out to be. I think there would have been, and wouldn't have been called She-Ra. I think it would have gone over a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I said that before too. Like, I can't really dunk on Steven Universe that much because it's its own thing, right? I mean, its audience can be toxic. A lot of the fans around that show.
The fans around this one are very, very toxic.
Right, but at least Steven Universe is its own show. High Guardian Spice, regardless of what you think about it, it's still an original show, even though it riffs, borrows riffs from other shows. In the case of She-Ra, any kind of reboot, you do have those fan expectations.
Well, okay, but so the article, people were sending us the article. And I want to point out the fact too that, with the original pitch even, it was more like a sister relationship. And they were kind of raised as sisters in this one too. So let's bring a new definition to sister wife.
It's extra creepy. Yeah,
It's
creepy.
Really creepy.
Yeah, so it's interesting though that this is kind of where we're at now. This came out like a week or so ago. We did have a bunch of people tag us in on Twitter on this. We didn't get around to it right away because it's like, do we really want to talk about Netflix She-Ra again? But it is interesting that we're starting to see a shift now. People, since it is in the rearview mirror, people can look back objectively and go like, yeah, Catradora was kind of trash.
Yeah, well, they need to look back objectively and be like, let's just bury this whole show.
In the cat box,
yeah,
right?
Where it belongs.
Anyway, this is interesting because the one article, Otto Straddle proclaimed it. Proclaimed the relationship, saying it gave gays everything they want. But after watching Catra brutalize Adora for 4.5 seasons, the show's celebration of the character's sudden romance felt jarring, even troubling. Catradora was the pairing many fans wanted, but was it earned? It's like Raylos.
I was thinking it's just like Raylos. I mean, it's like, this is not a good example of a healthy relationship in any way, shape, or form. And, you can make people be enemies and not be like trying to ship them the whole time. It's possible.
Yeah.
It is. This is bad. This is going to end in domestic violence and bad things.
Death. It's going to end in death.
But the kids saved the universe.
All right. Catra and Adora's toxic bond was the backbone of the show from the jump. The series begins with 2 young women as soldiers in the Fright Zone.
Like sisters.
Yeah, territory occupied by the oppressive intergalactic horde, which is basically, in the reboot, just a handful of teenagers, I guess. That never comes across as being menacing at all, ever. On a joyride outside the horde's borders, Adora discovers she's been fighting for the wrong side, finds a magic sword, and a horsey transforms into She-Ra.
Yeah, horsey.
Adora begs her friend to come with her. Catra refuses. You left me from then on, as in the original 85 series. No, the 2 are enemies. Okay, actually, in the original series, in the comic books, they were fighting over Bo. Then in the Filmation series, Catra was basically just Catwoman.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she could turn into a cat. It was really cool.
They did not use that in this. That was a missed opportunity.
She can go full furry.
Yep, more pussy for everyone.
More pussy for everyone. That should have been her name, Pussy Galore.
No, they can't. It's copyrighted.
Okay. Anyway, the 2 are enemies. Catra channels all of her energy into crushing the rebellion. In the reboot, Catra doesn't truly believe in the Horde's sinister ideology. She just wants revenge. Over 4.5 seasons, Adora and Catra's relationship continues this way. Then a switch flips. Catra joins the rebellion, quickly gains the princess's trust, and she and Adora live happily ever after. She shouldn't have.
No.
She should have been tried for war crimes.
That's because they wanted to give the shippers, the minor group of shippers, we're talking, most of them are minors, the small group that wanted that to happen, we had to give them what they wanted.
If you've ever consumed fan fiction, read romance, or watched a teen drama, you know that watching 2 characters start off as enemies and gradually grow to like each other can be satisfying. They're talking about Pride and Prejudice. They're talking about Parks and Rec. That's kind of a jump.
It was good.
Well-written conflict can be sexy. But when does the enemy to lovers trope cross a boundary and become abuse?
It was...
When Kiki hits me.
That's right. Shut up! Anyway, I didn't actually hit him. I better clarify, because someone's like, oh my God, poor...
No, she beats me often.
You better clarify that.
She beats me at games often.
No, I don't, but okay.
Anyway, throughout the series, Catra repeatedly insults Adora, targets her friends, tries to separate her from her support system, and literally attempts to murder her. This is fine.
It's all fine here.
It's just like Kylo Ren.
That's so hot.
It's so hot.
Can't wait for it to happen to me.
And these aren't strangers who loathe each other based on their oppositional allegiances. Catra's violence toward Adora isn't circumstantial. It's targeted and personal.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
very
they
much
grew up
so.
together. They grew up together.
Yeah.
She knows where it hurts. Hurts so good. Over the course of the show, audiences learn why. Catra and Adora's responses to conflict are the product of the abuse they experienced growing up in the Horde.
Blah, blah, blah. It's always
Blah,
somebody
blah,
else's
blah, blah.
fault. You're never responsible for your own actions.
Yeah, as a result, Adora has a savior complex and Catra is obsessive and jealous. This is an explanation for Catra's behavior, not an excuse for it. A trauma bond. Oh my God, they're calling it a trauma bond.
It is.
A trauma bond is not the same thing as a loving partnership, and the series doesn't really give Catradora a chance to form one. The bulk of the show sees Catra spiraling further into darkness, not out of it, and there aren't moments of kindness between her and Adora that suggest the possibility of rekindling a friendship, let alone falling in love.
That's valid, true point.
In a 2020 interview, Stevenson even acknowledged it. There's a lot of seasons where things get really rough between them, and there's not a lot of positive interaction to go on. I watched part of the last episode, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, she should be tried for war crimes. Or she should kill herself. Or it sounds like Twitter. Like, oh my God, Catra, you should just go kill yourself. But no, like...
Put in prison.
Yeah, I'm like, she should be rolling around in the grass with the rest of the best friend squad like nothing fucking happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I always do. Every time someone tries to kill me and do a bunch of shit to me, I just turn around and be like, okay, we're best friends now. Let's make out.
Must be noted, even after the main characters admit their feelings for each other, Catra still isn't nice. Adora, you love me? Catra, you're such an idiot. Stevenson has said they always imagine the two together.
That's a shocker.
I don't know. The necessary conclusion of each other's arc, separate and together. This suggests how the show was intended for audiences to understand Catra's behavior. She was so terrible and cruel to Adora because she loved her, obviously. What the fuck? There is no world in which this is okay.
What relationships have these people been part of that they think that's loving and good? Well, never mind. I know the answer to that one.
Because it's two girls. It's interesting. This is coming from a mainstream media outlet, right? She was terrible and cruel to Adora because she loved her, obviously. He's mean to you because he likes you was once a common refrain used by teachers and parents observing children in elementary school playgrounds to excuse generally boys' aggressive behavior toward girls. There actually was a book that came out, got all kinds of awards or something they were pushing it. Basically, it was about that. It was about this boy that picks on this girl, and it turns out that, he didn't really have a crush on her. He just liked to be mean to her, to control her.
Well, I know of an instance where a girl was just horribly mean to a boy.
They said, this is a problem. They said the logic is problematic in real life and on screen.
Yeah, you're trying to say, we're trying to be representative. We're trying to give people an example of this thing. But then that's the example you're giving is actually, detrimental more than it's helpful.
There's less tolerance for media that romanticizes abuse or dysfunction, from movies about good girls fixing bad boys to TV shows centering women who become enamored with their captors. It doesn't apply to straight couples. Viewers were furious about the ending of 2020's happiest season, in which Abby ends up with her lying girlfriend Harper rather than Riley. According to audiences, Harper didn't deserve Abby after the way she treated her. Catra tried to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm. And, she tried to kill Dora and all her friends.
Nobody's that hot.
No.
You know how it should have ended? With her being tried for war crimes. The end. They hang Catra.
They won't show that.
Cue the music with the best friend squad giggling about going out for ice cream or something after they hang Catra publicly.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
They said this is uncontroversial. Catra got a pass. She wanted a complicated character yearning for a connection. She was. Yet pushing people away. Many viewers felt affirmed to see a young queer woman make mistakes, work through the trauma, and still deserve forgiveness and love. Right. But she didn't deserve forgiveness and love. She didn't work through the damn trauma.
They said the show ultimately sacrificed the central focus on Beau, Glimmer, and Dora's complex, messy, loving friendship to rushedly uplift a toxic romance.
Right, because they're like, we got permission to put it in. Hurry, shove it in there, because we want to give people what they wanted.
Yeah, representation shouldn't be confused with endorsement. However, in pairing Catra with Adora in the final episode and portraying this as a victory, the show almost sanctions her behavior.
I agree. We've been saying it.
It
We've
says
been saying this.
It says you can treat someone this way and still be a viable romantic partner without first making deep amends. Redemption can be possible. Look at Zuko, but it takes time, and Catra was not given that time. No, that was
And
bullshit. It was basically the show was designed to appeal to shippers, and
Stevenson and his friends, their friends.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because look, Stevenson came from Tumblr.
Of course they have.
Most of the people who worked on the show came from Tumblr, and we said before, the show is for Tumblr by Tumblr, but realistically, and I don't think people are going to look back at this fondly in like 10 or 20 years. They're going to be like, why the hell?
They're already not looking back on it fondly, except for the wackadoos on Twitter.
Well, even the people who love the show now, they might look back on and be like, why the hell would the show promote hooking up with a toxic, it's representation, even though the person's abusive and horrible and a genocidal maniac.
That's because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about all that. It's about representation. They're basically saying that representation trumps everything else.
You said Trump!
I did it on purpose, actually. They're saying, I knew it would trigger people. Representation trumps everything else, even, relationships that aren't toxic and damaging.
Well, I hope this author knows what she's in for, because it has been our experience that the She-Ra stan community is one of the most toxic cartoon fandoms out there. They're absolutely volatile. Now, the thing is, they might have moved on to something else because the show's been off the air for a while, but who the hell knows? Very interesting to see a mainstream media outlet call it out, though. Mm-hmm. Gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.